Welcome to the book review of Nuricumbo and Partners. We are a consulting firm focused on helping companies of all sizes in special and confidential projects. In this space, we will discuss different topics about business with a special focus on Latin America. And today, we would like to talk about a very special book. It's called The Artificial Intelligence Economy. It's a book by written by a British economist called Roger Bootle, and it's very interesting from the point of view of what we could expect in the future regarding the artificial intelligence economy. As you know, there's been a lot of discussion in recent months or even years about the impact of artificial intelligence in the job creation and perhaps the destruction of jobs around the world. And for many years, it's also been clear that computer power is increasing, um, coming to a point where perhaps, as several authors have indicated, where machines will become as smart as people and in the near future probably become even smarter than people, with obviously very difficult to predict consequences, um, as we look in the past to other industrial revolutions or other ways that the way we work has changed in the past. We can obviously review what happened in the past 200 years with different kinds of revolutions, starting with the Industrial Revolution of the 1800s, where men could start using the water and steam power to increase productivity. Then came the revolution at the end of the 19th century with the introduction of electricity, which also enabled mass production and work around the clock, 24 hours. And then obviously the revolution that we are more familiar with, which is the information technology revolution of the 1960s, 70s, and 80s, with the introduction of the personal computer in all our homes and our offices. That revolution we're very familiar with. And now today, in the year 2023, we're looking forward to a new kind of revolution, what it has been called Revolution 4.0, and which is going to be the introduction of artificial intelligence in many, many aspects of our lives, no? And we're starting to see that with the introduction of things like Alexas and our smartphones, and really computing power that has never been so powerful and so affordable and so available in our different devices. But as we look back at all these revolutions, one factor that we see in common is that all these revolutions have meant a significant increase in productivity around the world. And obviously, there are countries that have benefit from this in a very substantial way, like the United States. But there are other countries like the developing world, Latin America, even obviously China, Africa. Pretty much the increase in productivity has been across the board, in different economies, different countries. So there is a positive aspect in the new advent of artificial intelligence, because the most likely outcome, this is what the author claims, is that we will probably see a huge increase in productivity in the next 20, 30, or 40 years. Of course, there's a lot of people that are worried about machines overtaking humans, as many jobs will be lost, many jobs perhaps will be automated very, very quickly. And it is true, for sure there will be some jobs that it will be very, very easy to automate and to give to either robots or chatbots or algorithms. But the most likely outcome as well, and this is some data coming from PwC in a study that they did a few years ago, is that at the end, some jobs will be created, some jobs will be destroyed, but at the end, probably the net effect of artificial intelligence will be a net creator of new jobs. And this happens because many jobs in manufacturing industry, in financial services, in perhaps construction, many jobs obviously will be lost, especially in those low level clerical type of activities that can be easily automated. But in other industries and in other sectors, many jobs will be created, especially because somebody will have to manufacture the robot, somebody will have to take care of the algorithms. So there will be a lot of job creation in other things like health, scientific jobs, technical jobs, communication. So there is an argument to be optimistic about that part in terms of job creation. Of course, industries like financial services, for example, where many of the work that has to be done relates to data processing, data analytics, the identification of trends, identification of patterns. Jobs will be lost in that industry, no? And here is so what some consulting firms are saying about financial services, where probably millions, 1.2 million jobs will be lost in that specific area. But as we see the total net effect in the economy, the most likely outcome will be that there will be also millions of new jobs be created in the next few years. Now, what the book tells us as well is, okay, if all that is going to happen in the next 20, 30 years, where will be the value created from all this automatization of processes and tasks that artificial intelligence will bring? And the answer is that the increase in productivity will be enormous. People will be able to do even much more with less resources in general, either because there is increase in labor productivity or because many services will be much more personalized to what we need. And this will allow people to save time, people and small businesses, for example, to save time, to be more productive, to be more competitive. So from that perspective, there is a very optimistic view that productivity gains will improve the production of goods and services and will create wealth in the next 20 to 30 years. Now, you may say, okay, is that going to be absolutely good? I mean, there are two views there. There are two views. The first view is that this is going to lead to a very interesting revolution in the next 20 or 30 years, where people actually will become very productive. We're going to have robots and algorithms and computers doing most of the heavy work, lifting all the heavy load for us. And perhaps that will bring us a new golden era of people finally being able to enjoy more of their time, direct more of their time to their family, to learning, to other more human activities that perhaps we have neglected in the past 50 or 60 years, as we have been working in many parts of the world for so many hours. So one view is that artificial intelligence will allow us to enjoy more of our lives, work less hours instead of more, and allow us to develop more human skills, more human activities, enjoy more of the human experience. But the other point of view is that perhaps this is not going to be very well distributed. All this enormous gain in productivity that will come in the next few years is going to be benefiting only a small part of the population. If we take, for example, by recent experience, all the gains in productivity, all the gains in wealth creation coming from globalization in the past 50 years, they have pretty much benefited a very small part of the population, the famous 1% who has taken most of the gains from all the benefits of globalization. So, if anything, we need to be careful that that does not happen in the artificial intelligence revolution. And that brings another subject in the book, which is the need to establish a robust and solid framework for developing artificial intelligence in the future. Uh, and the OECD is already working on that, and many countries in the next few years are going to be working very, very hard on this. How do we ensure that anything that we do with artificial intelligence is ethical, is transparent, is verifiable, and is secure, especially now that data is going to be a very important asset for anything that we do with artificial intelligence. We can expect that governments around the world will be working very hard and hopefully on a timely basis to see how we can develop frameworks to regulate this technology. And of course, the other big topic that the book discusses is how do we need to change our education systems to prepare our kids, to prepare our children for a world where information and knowledge will have a different meaning than what they have today. Obviously, and historically, education systems have been very slow to react to new technologies, to new paradigms in terms of work, in terms of technology, in terms of education. And we need to make sure that that doesn't happen this time around. We need to make sure that education systems around the world are prepared to meet these challenges. And this will require focusing on many other skills that we do not have today. And it will perhaps, they will need to focus also more on some human skills, soft skills, not necessarily the technological aspect or the scientific, mathematical aspect, but things like project management, creativity, teamwork, or caring for other human beings. So very interesting what's going to happen in terms of adapting our education systems to the new realities of artificial intelligence. So in summary, the book finishes saying in a very optimistic term that most likely the outcome of the artificial intelligence revolution is that there will be an enormous productivity gain in the next few years. People and companies will have to work very hard to take advantage of these new tools where basically humans will not be substituted by machines, but we will be working shoulder by shoulder, hand by hand with computers, with chatbots, with ChatGPT, with all sorts of new tools that will make people and companies much more productive than we can imagine today. And in that sense, it will be a very optimistic future as long as we regulate it correctly, we prepare our children correctly for a new landscape that will require new skills, and also that we have the systems and the processes and the regulatory framework to make sure that the benefits of this amazing revolution that we will witness in the 21st century, that those benefits are equally shared in society and they do not go just to benefit a very few people. Well, thank you very much for listening to us. We love to hear your feedback. We love to make these summaries of interesting books. And see you next time.